I haven't been documenting my long story here, but I've been putting a lot of work into this snowblower. I tried to fix it last year, ended up going through the whole winter without having a snowblower. Kind of in danger of doing that again this year, maybe junking the thing. But as you can see, I got it ripped apart pretty far. What did I do with the pulley? I had to take the pulley off just to get the belt on. I have it all disassembled to get this part of it out, which is this pulley carrier. It carries two pulleys on the sides, and the belt is kind of a dumb design. It has to make a 90-degree turn right before it hits this pulley. So there's a big pulley going on here, and the belt coming from the tractor, coming down from the tractor, has to do a 90 right here. And this is the bracket that holds it. Well, it's been throwing belts like crazy. So finally I took this to a welder today and had him flatten this out as well as I could because it had a real big dent in it. Yeah, the pulley had pulled itself to a big dent. Yeah, a little bit on the other side too, not as bad. So finally got that done. Last year, before last winter, I had taken this apart in the summer and hammered this down as much as I could with a blowtorch with a mat cylinder and a hammer and what I have for anvil, which isn't much, to the back of a vise, you know, don't have a real anvil. So I finally took it to a real welder guy, and the guy only took $7 for it. Silverline Welding, if you're a local. Good guy. So now I'm going to try to put it back together. I found one of my pulleys that fits this carrier. It had a lot of play in it. And they're fairly generic pulleys. I'm thinking now though the pulley I bought, the only one they had in stock, might be a little light duty for the job. And here's one of the original pulleys. We went upsize last time, and now I'm gone downsize. Fit deeper in these pulleys and see if that'll help too. Plus it might flex around the 90 degrees easier. Yeah, so those have to go back on. I guess I need to reuse that anti-seize or find some new anti-seize. I have some in the other barn. That was a bear to get off. I'd use a puller. I need to get a better puller, get a good 3-arm puller. I almost bought one today actually. Well, the camera's going back in the house. It's too cold out here to leave it out here, but I'll be back with an update. So she's all bolted back together. I'll flip her down in a second. I also bought a narrower belt. I think the original belt was narrower. Fits deeper in the pulleys. The last belt I bought was the same length. It was pretty tight in the fatter. But I think I'm going to try a thinner belt. It fits deeper in the pulleys. I also found a pulley that was bad. So I've got a new pulley in here. It's not quite as heavy duty as I'd like. I may have to eventually put a more heavy duty pulley in there. Fits exactly right. Kind of in the shadow, unfortunately. And the main thing is that the pulleys more or less are straight, not cocked off on odd angles. Okay, oh, I just dropped my light bulbs. Things I do for YouTube. Just bought 2 new light bulbs because pretty sure I broke them too from the sound of it. Anyway, I can't keep LED light bulbs in the winter. I keep burning them out. The low temperature makes the regulator go high voltage, up to 17 volts, which is typical on a car. Lead acid battery monitor. They just can't take it. But I've replaced this pulley. I may have to still put a heavier duty one in. The original is a little bit heavier duty. And they did have one in the book where I bought it at the auto parts store. Or I could go online and get one too. I had been looking at eBay, but I was at the auto parts store for other stuff, well, for the belt. And then I noticed that the bearing was a little bit strange. So it's all back together. Kind of a pain. Hope I don't have to do it again. At least with the thinner belt, I'll be able to get the belt in and out of the pulleys if it does get munched. With that thick belt, I had to take it apart to get the belt out again once it got off track. And both pulleys were bent out at weird angles. So I got that plate straightened out and the whole thing back together. Hopefully the storm's coming tonight, so hopefully I'll be ready. Looks like it should work. Everything moves really easy. Pulleys are pretty straight. The first stage of mounting this to the tractor is to get these hooks on. So this is one side of the snowblower and the other one over the other side there. And they both got a hook onto these, and I'm a little bit spread. So my trick is to put head this tighter. Actually, I was pulling it like this. Is try to pull something like that wrapped around tight, so that it pulls it in a little bit. The slop and each one of them pulls the slop in. That way, it's easier to get onto these. Otherwise, you get one hooked and the other one is too far off, doesn't hook. It becomes a real pain in the keister to hook. I'm usually battling with that, so this is the first time I really did this, and it won't be the last though. I'll be doing this every time. Try to get it tighter though. A real tight band around there towards the tip, so there's some leverage on it, pulling it in, and away it goes. Mounted pretty easily. Now I got to get the pin through. That's another struggle, but there's a big long pin I got to pull through here. I got to take this off. It goes right through here. Pins this together, big long pin, and a cotter pin through the pin. That can be a struggle, but it's a matter of horsing around with it. This is the pin. See, and it's way off, so I got to play with it. I got to lift the shovel actually, and probably put a little wood under the front of the shovel. Jack it up a little to make this easier. So I'm going to fight with that for a little bit. And if you've seen my chute light, I can't say enough for the durability of these. Even putting it together, I really crammed them in there. They've been really durable. See that video. It's a nice video from way back. In quite a few years I've been using these. Anyway, that's what this wire's for. And this has just got it route inside and connector for the headlights. Other than that, I'm done. I got the pin through and ready to go. Fingers crossed. Oh, I got to put the belt on, lace the belt through the pulleys underneath, and then I've got to pull the tensioner. Little cable on this block here. There's these cables, like this is one of them. One of the tensioners. This is for the tensioner on the upper layer though. There's a tensioner on the other side just like this where you pull it and then you pin through the cable to make it tight. Put a pin through the chain rather to keep it locked tight. So and there's a spring, chain just pulls on a spring. So basically you pull all the chain out and then pin it as far as you can. And then the spring takes up the rest on the tensioner mechanism. And that's about that. But that's really all you need to see for this repair. We'll see if it works. I still have to replace the chain for this tensioner. It should be just like this tensioner. Little chain, and then you can put a pin through it if you want. This one, I think, well, I'll have to see how it works out. I'll leave it loose for right now, see how it works with the implement engagement lever to adjust that. So that's not a big deal. This is the main one that's going to adjust, pull these together. Now, normally this came out the other side. Actually, there's 4 holes and only 2 tensioners. So you can make either one go either way. And it doesn't really matter on this belt so much. You're just going between the same 2 pulleys. I found, however, doing it the backwards way, it works nicer because these 2 belts end up hugging this guide pulley more than they do the other way. And that's kind of good because the less these shake, the better. So I switched the spring around to this side instead of the other side. Rustled that around, and now I'll just pull this one tight. Of course, this should be a chain, so I'm just going to wire it off until I get the chain. And now I've got my little redneck solution here. I should get a little chain for it. But see how it works out nicely. They both hit this guide pulley. Of course, the belt's moving the same speed both sides, so it doesn't matter. It's just a guide pulley. And that keeps it from shaking, rather than having one side, loose and shaky. Now they both shake from this side, so that's good. Oops. Oh. Blew my chance, but not having it choked. Time for new battery. So finally some success. Got the snowblower working and got the place snowblowed out. Although I had done a lot of it already with the Yooper Scooper, as we like to call them. I don't know what the official name is. Yooper Scooper. The old fins would make them out of tin. And if you make a ramp like that, and if you have some patience, you don't really have to strain yourself. You can clear big areas and just push them up a slight incline like that. I always kind of muscle it around too much and work it pretty hard. But if you're patient and use some strategy, you can clear a big area with just a slow, continuous effort. Pace yourself. And once you're done, before you back it in, you really need to keep everything as clean as you can with a broom or blower or whatever you got. Clean it up. Don't want all that stuff freezing in. For me, the big rush was to get this done before it thaws out. It's going to get just above freezing, which would make it really tough to blow. So I ended up putting this back to the stock side, getting the pin right through the end of the spring so I get the maximum tension I can get out of it. I have just enough spring tension. The reason I changed it back was so I could get more spread this way to better match the spread of the snowblower. Because otherwise it was a little bit narrower. I don't think it makes that big a difference. I could have made that work, I think. But that's what I did. And I did finally get it stop throwing. Yeah, decent tension.